Hey, good morning, colleagues. This is John Herrera, president of MuniTemps, Municipal Staffing Solutions, and here today with a CitySpeak blog and podcast for today on the topic about colleges, when experience is more valuable than a college degree. You know, there's a lot of talk out there these days about the value of a college education, about whether or not a college degree or a university degree is really that important. There's all the rhetoric about the student loans, forgiveness, and so forth. All of that stuff. It's more important than ever to have the conversation about whether a college degree is really necessary to succeed in life. You all know who Albert Einstein is, one of the smartest men in history, scientists or whatever. But you know, I think they had asked, it's quoted that that Albert Einstein was asked whether or not he had a college degree. And I believe what he said was that he couldn't find a university qualified to give him one. So it's really interesting to me that as we go through life every day, we realize that there's a growing number of people that don't really care about the college degree. More and more employers, because of a lack of college grads who are also qualified with practical experience out there, many of them are going without the college degree. So let me just stop for a moment here. There are certain individuals that have to have a college degree. I know that if you go in for surgery, and the fella that's right there with the knife and the scalpel, all right, and ready to put you under with anesthesia, or the anesthesiologist, if he doesn't have a college degree on his wall, you might not be very confident about putting your life in his or her hands. You might have already gone to look on his wall and see where he graduated from, right? If your life is on the line, does it matter whether the individual who's going to operate on you has a college degree? I'll leave that up to you. But personally, of course I care whether he has a college degree. I suppose psychiatrists, I've never been to one, but a psychiatrist, a psychologist. I'm a CPA. I'm a certified public accountant. So I'll show you my license, okay? Maybe it's a little bit of bragging rights, but wow, the state of California Board of Accountancy gives us very big, very big diplomas, right? Maybe it has to go along with the ego, right, for finance and accounting people. But accountants, certified public accountants, have to have college degrees. I think I showed you the bachelor's degree, right? That's this one right here. I got a bachelor's degree from San Diego State University with a degree in business administration with an emphasis in finance and accounting. And then I also earned a master's degree in public administration, also from the California State University system. You can say whatever you want about college degrees. I happen to go because that's just what I was taught as a Latino, Chicano, Mexican American, Hispanic, whatever you want to call us. We were taught that if we wanted to be able to enjoy a standard of living, the American dream and so forth, we had to go to college. Education was the key to enjoying a standard of living, which I think fewer and fewer people today are enjoying, sadly to say. But it's no longer that way. You no longer have to go to college to achieve your goals. And you know, I'm here to give you a case study. I'm going to use a real life guy. Now, he's not alive anymore, sadly, he's passed. But before I go into that story, okay, he's a fellow that I met at the city of Hemet back in 1990 when I started my career. But by the way, my career has been as a chief financial officer, finance director, analyst, working for city government, and other local governments. Today I'm a consultant, but for the last 32 years, I have been using my college education and my license as a certified public accountant to be a consultant to serve local governments, okay? But today I want to talk about that point about licensed professionals. They have to have it. I think you need it, right? Whether or not it's required, you're going to ask for it. If you have a lawyer, right? In order for him to become a lawyer who can represent you in a lawsuit or to bring a lawsuit on your behalf, you hopefully want to know that he has a college degree, right? You're not going to say, well, it's okay if you don't have the college degree. We'll just go with your experience. He can't practice before the legal system unless he has a college degree and has passed the bar. By the way, to get a CPA license, it's a Mondo test. At least back in the day, I took my CPA license test in Anaheim in a 2-day, 16.5-hour test. Very stressful, very rigorous, and very difficult to pass. But for the licensed professionals, CPAs, lawyers, engineers, doctors, and the like, you have to have a college degree. But outside of those licensed professionals, you don't need a college degree. You know, today you will find that if you have the ability to talk, the ability to communicate, you're not afraid to have a conversation in front of people. Which, by the way, if you're afraid of talking in front of people, public speaking, just go do it, man. Just do it. Because if you're afraid, you're never going to achieve the level of success that you can achieve. If you're not afraid to speak up and look people in the eye, let them know what you think. Let them know what you've learned, which is a lot with every year of experience that you have. Speak up. Don't be afraid. I know they say that people are more terrified of public speaking than they are of dying. Really. Oh, I'll just die if I speak in public. Don't be, man. Just don't be. You know what? That city manager that I report to, or that director or whoever, the council, they appreciate that I can stand up there and talk and say what I think. I do research, obviously. I prepare well. Try my best to prepare as well as possible. And I speak up. You can't be afraid to speak up. That is more valuable. The ability to communicate and speak in public is more valuable than a college education. They don't teach you that in college. You come out of college with your little college degree, it's not going to be as useful to you as if you were to be a public speaker, a communicator. Get involved. So I believe that experience, courage, public speaking skills, and just plain scrappiness is way more important than a college degree. Many college grads that I speak to, and I've spoken to thousands of college grads, and I interview them for these positions that I'm trying to get them placed at. 80 to 90% of them are just trembling. If they're not already, depends on the age, right? We have the baby boomers, right? I'm the baby of the boomers. Then we have the Gen X, the millennials, the Gen Z, whatever you call those different generations. People are different, right? But for my generation, I'll tell you that if you come out of college with a degree and you expect that that's going to do everything for you, it's not going to do it. You got to be able to have the courage to speak up and have conversations with people. Now, let me say one thing. There are people who have a college degree, and if they have a college degree, their opinion of somebody who doesn't have a college degree doing the job that they're doing is probably very low. Oh, you don't have a college degree? Well, that's stupid. That's wrong. Because as I'm going to tell you about this story, a real life story, I'll get there in just a moment. You don't need a college degree to succeed. By the way, this is just a 10-minute part. Go to my YouTube channel on the CitySpeak podcast, and I'll tell you more about how you, it's a longer version, about how you don't need a college degree, okay? And I'm going to tell you about this story if you go to my YouTube channel, because I won't have time here. I'll tell you about Bear's Guide to Earning a Degree Non-Traditionally, and the fact that you can succeed without a college degree, but you got to be able to speak up in front of people. And then robots, artificial intelligence, they're going to change everything anyways. Come back, please, okay? John Herrera with MuniTemps and the CitySpeak podcast. Come back, please, in my YouTube channel. All for now. Have a great day. Go out there and do good work. Bye-bye. Please come back. Go to my YouTube channel, okay? Okay. Very good. For those of you who stuck out past the 10-minute presentation, I want to go into telling you a little bit more about this concept about college. When is it required and when is it not required? Well, frankly, in today's 2023 labor market, you don't need a college degree. If you can talk, if you can promote, if you can advance, if you can educate people about whatever the concept of your organization, you can succeed. Many people do not have a college education and they succeed very well. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about in this next part of the MuniTemps CitySpeak podcast. David R. Altman. I met this man in 1990. By the way, a lot of you that are out there, you know who I'm talking about. If you worked at the city of Hemet, you know who I'm talking about. David R. Altman. He came up through the ranks at the city of Hemet. I think he started working at the city of Hemet in 1964. And so I met him in 1990, so that's about 26 years later. So when I got to the city of Hemet in 1990, David Altman had been there for about 26 years. David Altman, I think he worked for Pam Easter. By the way, this tie was given to me 35 years ago by Pamela Easter, the city manager. She was at the city manager of the city of Hemet. She was also, when I went to become the first-time finance director at the city of San Jacinto, right next door, back in 1995, Pam gave me this tie. So Pam Easter, thank you for this tie. Look, I really took care of it. I really valued it, everything that you taught me. Pam Easter, by the way, you think she's a college graduate? Of course she is. She has a degree, bachelor's degree, a master's degree from University of California. Go Trojans, USC. Well, I'm not USC, I'm San Diego State. Go Aztecs. But anyhow, Pam Easter, she was working with David Altman. And David R. Altman, he was one of the smart people I knew back then. That dude was, he was quite a character. 32 years ago, I was 27, 28 years old. And David Altman would walk around. He'd come to the staff meetings. I was an analyst back then, and he'd say, I remember when Apple was a nickel. And back then, I guess he was, how old was he? He was born in 1938. So he was about 48, almost 50 years old. But he was quite a character. But he was smart. He knew how to communicate. He understood how to serve the city manager and the city council. The city of Hemet was very fortunate to have David Altman. But he had a lot more in mind than just serving. He had a good paycheck in mind. You see the pension right there? $190,000. Okay. Was David Altman a college grad? Well, yes, he was. But he didn't earn, well, let me just stop for a moment here. David Altman, he was a college grad. Have you ever heard of Columbia University? I think that's one of the Ivy League schools, is it not? Columbia University. A lot of guys and gals, a lot of kids, I should say, trying to get into that university, but they have an acceptance rate of about 4.1%. 4% of the thousands of high school students that apply to go to Columbia University get accepted. But what about David Altman? He graduated from Columbia University. And I was just talking to an HR professional, a colleague of mine. She and I still keep in touch. We used to work in the city of Hemet together. And I remember back in 1990 when David Altman would walk around City Hall and telling us, because he had not yet gotten his college degree when I started there in 1990, but he discovered his book on how to get a college degree. Because see, David Altman was in public works, and he was trying to move up and get promoted and so forth. But anyways, he found this book. Let me show it to you here. See it there? Bear's Guide to Earning Non-Traditional College Degrees. This is the best investment that Dave Altman ever made in his life, right here. And I'll tell you that John Bear, he's a PhD. Now, I don't know where he's a PhD from, but he's a PhD. The book, the copyright is 1988, so this book was 2 years old when old Dave Altman brought it over to me. By the way, no disrespect to David Altman, okay? He died last year, but no disrespect. We're just talking about education right now, okay? And Dave was right on. He didn't need to have a college degree. He was not one of the licensed professionals that was doing engineering. He was public works director, by the way, but he didn't know anything about designing or, he was an engineer. He wasn't a PE. He didn't have the professional engineering license. But at any rate, in the very first page of this Bear's Guide to Earning Non-Traditional College Degrees, it says, as you read this book, you will learn that I am heavily biased. I have strong opinions about which schools and programs are good and which are not. And I do not hesitate to say so. Again, this is the author, right? Mr. Bear. He says, I have been sued 3 times, twice for millions of dollars by people who operate what I call and continue to call illegal diploma mills. And once, years ago, by a school that I incorrectly identified as a diploma mill. It is the case that over the years I have done consulting or advisory work for various schools who paid me in money, in goods, generally the use of their mailing list to help sell this book, and in 2 cases, stock. In return for my consulting work in the early 1970s, Columbia Pacific University paid me with a small amount of stock, on which I never collected dividends, in which I sold years ago. Oh, so there's a Columbia University, but there's a Pacific in between there. Columbia Pacific University. Anyways, David R. Altman, there's hundreds of colleges that are listed here where you could earn your degree non-traditionally. But David went right to the first one he saw on the first page, Columbia Pacific University. And when you go to Columbia Pacific University, it states there, and I'll just read that to you here. Columbia Pacific University, it says, they're located at 1415 3rd Street, San Rafael, California, 94901, USA. Richard L. Cruz, MD, is the president. There are many fields. It was formed in 1978. You can earn a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, a doctorate, and a law degree. You don't have to be a resident. It's a proprietary college. Their number is 1-800-227-0119. And the fees are $3,000 to $5,000. Or the tuition is $3,000 to $5,000. It says your non-resident degrees in many fields through schools of arts and sciences, health and human services, international law, and business and administration and management. The university is approved by the state of California. The university is approved by the state of California. That doesn't mean it's accredited, right? It just means it's approved, I guess, whatever that meant back then. It says the university is approved by the state of California. More than 5,000 students are enrolled. Of 377 faculty described on the partial faculty list, 23% have their own doctorate from Columbia Pacific University, an unusually high percentage. Degrees are based on, here you go, credit for prior learning, completion of a core curriculum, normally requiring 9 to 12 months, and a major project, thesis, or dissertation. Anyways, that's where I think good old Dave got his degree from Columbia University. But it wasn't Columbia University that we think of as an Ivy League. It was Columbia Pacific University. I believe that's the one that he went to. At any rate, he got his bachelor's degree. David got his bachelor's degree and his master's degree back in 1990. And I think he graduated summa cum laude. But back then at the city of Hammond, Dave was promoting this to all of us. I already had my bachelor's degree from San Diego State University, but when Dave was telling me, John, you should go get your master's degree. And he was telling me about, how he got his degree. And he gave all of us, he got like 100 of these books, and he gave them all over City Hall that everybody should get one. But again, I'm just pointing out that you can't earn a degree. You can earn a college degree today. And it doesn't have to be the traditional, go to the California State University or University of California or some other public or private university. Dave Altman was able to get his degree from Columbia University, and he accomplished his goal, not just in terms of public service, but also in terms of getting his college degree and earning a really good salary. Now, David worked for the city of Hemet for 36.48 years. This is all public knowledge. You just have to go to Transparent California and look up pensions, and you can see what everybody makes. Okay, and really, it's the CalPERS, the California Public Employee Retirement System, has been a really sweet pension for a lot of people, and for those who knew how to make it work for them, they did that. Back then, having a college degree was very important. David R. Altman was promoted to Director of Special Projects. Have you ever seen a job title called Director of Special Projects? I've never seen that before, buddy. David landed that job at the city of Hemet. They wanted to make him a director so he can get all the director level benefits and compensation and pension and so forth. And David was worth every dollar to the city because he accomplished a lot of things for the city back then. No matter who criticized him or whatever, David succeeded. That's what the organization wanted, and that's what the organization got. David Altman retired from the city in 2004, and he got to enjoy a good life. And like I said, with the college degree that he was able to pursue, he was able to get promoted, and he was really smart. I mean, there were a lot of things that he said that went contrary to what I was taught in my college. Like when he would say, I would try to explain to Dave when we were building the budget at the city of Hemet, and I worked with Dave from 1990 to 1995. I had 5.5 years of experience working with Dave Altman. But when I would try to explain to him fund accounting, city government, where we have a different fund, we have the general fund, we have the special funds, and we have enterprise funds and fiduciary trust funds and so forth, he said to me, John, forget about all that hogwash. It's all one big pot anyway. So the two things I remember about Dave Altman, there's many other things, but the two things I remember about David R. Altman is the fact that he always reminded me, when I was your age, an apple costed a nickel. And then the other thing is that he would tell me that the budget was all one big pot. And wouldn't that be nice if, anyways, sorry about that, my phone was going off. But a lot of things. It was very interesting working with Dave Altman. And there's a lot of Dave Altmans out there. And they figured out how to beat the system, how to get their college degree, and how to succeed. David Altman was a smart guy. I mean, Director of Special Projects, great. As I showed you here, he basically got a $190,000 pension. You can go into Transparent California. I mean, the 2020 pension that he got was $193,374.60. The year before that, before COVID, in 2019, he got $189,932.88. CPI, the Consumer Price Index, increases the pensions that retirees get. Now, I am a CalPERS retiree, but I don't get anywhere near what David Altman gets. You can look me up as well. I worked in city government since 1990, but anyways, just want to highlight for you that it's important that you look at what opportunities there are for you by getting a college degree. If you need it for licensed professional, other than that, you don't. There are non-traditional ways of earning a college degree, and I encourage you to look at this Bear's Guide to Earning Non-Traditional Degrees. Bear's Guide to Earning Non-Traditional College Degrees. It's a little fun, for us that look at the fact that there are some college diploma mills, as they call them. But no, there are some good college degree programs as well. Check them out. You could earn your degree today, work just from home on your computer. So there's more than one way to earn a college degree. You don't have to go the expensive way where you spend $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year. There are other university education, and it's very affordable. You don't have to get into debt. What's more important is practical experience, especially for the positions that are not typically licensed professional positions. Go after it. Go look at opportunities for what other colleges. Lots of universities that have online education. You can do them in between classes, in between projects, in between work. And now that there's more flexibility than ever, you can accomplish your goals. You can still lead organizations and get your college degree non-traditionally, where you never have to leave your chair, your desk, or whatever. The time that you spend in a college degree, the ROI. Now, all joking aside, I said, David R. Altman, his degree, it's a great investment. All he had to do was buy this book and do some classes that he was able to do from his home computer. Believe it or not, we did have computers back in 1990. They called it electronic mail, right? Email.